And we're live. Episode 1.
Season
Season 2. If you're listening this morning, happy Monday morning to all you beautiful people. We are back for Season 2, like I just mentioned. Hopefully you like your new intro, too, for Season 2. We did a little bit of editing on that. Yes, so just let us know if you like that, if you don't like that.
Dude, I'm still taken back by it. That thing is...
It was our first edit, so of course I was looking for some more edits, but it turned out pretty good, so... Yeah, just let us know what you think of the new video. So.
I don't expect anybody to listen to the rest of the podcast now. That thing was that was
if you listen to that 13 seconds, make sure to give this video a thumbs up.
Mm-hmm,
we definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely.
On that note, too, guys, we've recently teamed up with a group. Help me out here, Hess.
Fresh off the clock.
Fresh off the clock. My brain went blank for a second, but Fresh Off the Clock has joined us. Or we've joined them technically.
We've partnered up. We're one.
We partners up, yeah. So it's helped us get some followers on Facebook. I think we're at 582 right now, so we're trying to reach 600. So if you're listening to this, we sure would appreciate a follow on Facebook. Make sure to tell your friends as well. Yep. Every little bit helps. We're on the road to 1,000 this year. It's going to be our new season 2 goal. Last season we wanted to hit 500. We came close, but not without the help of Fresh Off the Clock. So we finally got that going and was able to cross that bridge. So we're over the hump now. So now the next goal is 600. So make sure you share that with all your friends. But again, happy Monday morning. Hopefully everyone had a good weekend. Again, we're going to be switching this up for season 2. If you haven't seen already on our Facebook pages or any of our social medias, this season is going to be mainly focused on college football. Hess and I love college football. So we're going to try to cover the big games, try to get you some bets in there too. Key predictions. Hopefully you followed the call outs for this past weekend. If you did, you'd probably want some money. Hess called out the Georgia Tech upset, which we're getting ready to get into here in just a second. We're getting ready to dive into that. So hopefully you listen to that pick. If not, make sure you follow and listen to those picks, because again, it's going to win you some bags. So yeah, Hess, are you ready to dive in, man?
Yeah, before we go any farther, I do want to shout out Cody and Big Fred.
Yes.
Great guys. Love the phone call conversation. Kind of got this thing going with Fresh Off the Clock. Like I said, guys, or like Castle said, we're partnered up with them, but we ain't changing nothing. This is Tyler's Talking Sports. Yep. How we started this thing from our original followers and people who listened. This is going to be the same stuff. We're just diving in and isolating our focus on the college football. We're super excited about it. I'm already working on possibly getting us an ETSU player on here. We're going to try to get some local colleges, UVA-Wise, ETSU, Emory and Henry. We're going to kind of focus on them a little bit here and there, ease into that stuff. But we got some big plans for this college football season, a lot of cool things. But like Castle was saying, happy Monday to you guys. Be sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, or Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, all your major podcasting platforms, because we're on all of them. Be sure, too, if you don't want to listen and maybe you just want to see our beautiful selves during this and our beautiful rooms that we have and everything in our background, we're on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe to that. It's all under Tyler's Talking Sports. We're also on TikTok. That's got all our clips and stuff too, Instagram, Facebook, and X. But yeah, man, happy Monday to you. Hope you have a good Monday. Hope they have a great Monday. We had college football, man. We had college football yesterday. College
football's back. Felt like a true. We had some October weather too earlier in the week here in Southwest Virginia, so it was very fitting to start this Saturday. So it was very nice just to sit down at noon on a Saturday and watch some college football. That was relaxing. I enjoyed it. I know you did as well. You was also on the football field for your son. So shout out to Braxton.
Yep, shout out Braxton.
But yeah, so man, let's dive into it. So first game on Saturday was Georgia Tech and FSU. FSU, of course, got upset, which is crazy. But again, guys, if y'all listened, Hess called this. I actually did not. I picked Florida State to win this. I figured for sure they would pull it off, but plans changed.
Plans change, man.
Plans change.
Things change.
Opening drives, starting it out, Florida State drove straight down. They hit a big run play. A lot of rushing in this game. Is a back-and-forth game pretty much throughout. But Lawrence Toafili, or as I like to call him, a.k.a. Toes Feeling Good, my guy, because he ran all over the place.
We're talking about the game in Ireland. I thought you wanted to.
Oh, you're going straight to that. I wasn't going to the field yet. I was talking about the opening drive.
Well, it's the field, man. We're in Ireland. This game was played in Dublin, Ireland.
Dublin, Ireland. I got you. It was.
Gotta have that feel, man.
Gotta have that feel. But yeah, Lawrence to Philly ran for a 28-yard touchdown to get things going. I thought for sure, I was like, well, Florida State's probably going to, from the starting, 5 minutes, they looked pretty daggone solid. And then they went with a 2-point play call. I thought that was very ballsy to start the season.
I mean, when you're still complaining about not making the playoff from last year, I mean, you got to do something to get excitement.
Yeah, I think they got to get over that hump too. I think they got that's still sitting kind of on them. They got to get over that. Mike Norvell calling a 2-point play conversion first play. I loved it. I thought that was great because you're definitely not going to expect that first play on the defense. Right. So caught them off guard. Caught Georgia Tech off guard. But Georgia Tech, give them props, man. They bounced right back. Not so fast, big fella is what I wrote down in my notes. Came out with a little screen pass to Rutherford for a 25-yard plus gain, put him within inside the 20. And then they scored down on the 1-yard line. I think they did a QB sneak under center. Or not under center, sorry, it's a shotgun.
Quarterback draw.
Quarterback draw. But they ran that and then was down by 1, and it was close from there on out. It was back and forth. It was a great start to college football.
My big takeaway from this was everybody was coming into this, even like Nick Saban was talking about. Georgia Tech had the number 1 rushing offense last year, scoring and yards per carry and rushing attempts per game. And they brought back 88% of that offense came back. So you brought back that entire line, that run game. Only thing they really lost was some receivers. I think King's a new quarterback for them. I think he transferred from Texas A&M when Jimbo got fired. So that was kind of your new piece there. But Georgia Tech just got the ball. They were eating the clock with that ground game. But the big thing for me here was King, man, at quarterback. I mean, he didn't have many pass attempts, but he was very efficient. 11 for 16 for 146 yards. But, dude, that dude got outside the pocket. It was almost a guaranteed first down. He had 15 rushes for 75 yards and made some big-time third down conversions with his legs. But as for me, you know me, I'm a big defensive guy. Georgia Tech came into this game, and defensively, I mean, they just did what they had to do. They made the stops. DJ Ukulele, that's what we're going to continue calling him. This is like his third school. He's back to the ACC this year. Hopefully, maybe in the next 2 transfer portals, he'll finally get his footing. The dude may have completed 2 passes in this game. To me, he was very –
like over 6 yards, it was like 2 for 12 or something, and then under 5 yards, it was like 98%. I can't remember.
Yeah, he just couldn't hit the deep ball. He tried several times, couldn't hit it. But, I mean, that goes credit, though, I will say, to Georgia Tech's DBs. I mean, they were locked in, not giving any space. But to me, DJ was very bland, just to be honest with you.
He was 19 for 27, 193 yards. I mean,
he was not the quarterback that was at Oregon State last year. I'll tell you that. He was not that guy.
It's a first game. I think it's going to take them a second to get. Obviously, it's going to take them a minute. They got to get over last year's big blow in the finals. So they got to let that go. Can't keep talking about that. This is new year, new season.
Just can't beat those Georgia schools.
Must be what it is. No, hats off to Georgia Tech, man. Like you said, they came to play. Jamal Hayes, he tore it up. 2 touchdowns, 11 carries, 75 yards. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's a small number of carries and a large amount of yards. So that's almost 7.5 a carry. So can't complain over that. One thing I did want to note on this, the season isn't over. It is, the first game of the season, so there's 11 to go. 12-team playoff this year too, so I'm excited to see how that pans out. A 1-loss or 2-loss team could make it. So,
they're
not out very early.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, ACC is going to be really competitive this year. This was an ACC game. I mean, Florida State's now 0-1 in the ACC starting out the 2024 season. Teams like Virginia Tech, Clemson, North Carolina, NC State, those teams are sitting here like, man, wow, this is great. This is a team that we thought we was going to compete with, which are still going to, like you said. And I mean, 1 loss in the ACC. I mean, I don't see anybody in the ACC going undefeated this year. I mean, it's possible, but I don't see it. But one more thing before we kind of get off of this one, I want to talk about Brent Key. This is his second year at the Georgia Tech. He was the special teams coach for Georgia. When he left, he became the interim there at Georgia Tech, and then last year was his first season. That dude's instilling that Kirby Smart mentality here at Georgia Tech, and you can see it. I mean, these kids are coming out. They were ready. They didn't care that the 90% of that crowd was Florida State fans. They wouldn't. Florida State, I think they're saying, some of their fans are saying that their team was jet lagged. Georgia Tech took another plane the same day, had the same flight, and they came out and just kicked their tail. I mean, as Coach Taylor used to say, one of my favorite coaches, kicked the dog water out of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, Brent Key is he's another one of those hard-nosed football coaches that really just gets the most out of these players, and it shows right here. I mean, the way they finished last year, the way they came out this year, Georgia Tech's going to be a force in that ACC. That run game, and if that defense continues, watch out.
I'd agree with that. ACC's kind of open this year. I mean, you got Clemson sitting up there pretty top. They open up with Georgia, so we'll see what they got there.
It's good to see, though. I mean, it's good to see a team like Georgia Tech doing good. I mean, these traditional back when I was really watching the ACC.
Georgia Tech used to be decent. I remember.
I mean, think about it. I mean, they had Demarius Thomas at one point. They had Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had some big-time players. But, I mean, Virginia Tech's on the up this year. Clemson should be on the up this year. Miami with Ward at quarterback, they should be on the up this year. The ACC looks pretty – NC State is going to be a force
we
this
play them
year.
Second week, so
yeah, Tennessee plays them, yeah. So, I mean, ACC is going to be really fun to watch. I don't think they've got a legitimate, like, that team's going to be in the Final Four of the playoff. But I think up and down, they're probably one of the top three conferences. I mean, they're probably one of the top three conferences in football this year, probably right behind the Big Ten and ACC. So, I mean, there ain't much left. I mean, you don't have the Pac-12 anymore, but the ACC looks good, and this is a big step for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, ACC does look good. I want to go over some facts on these, but I do want to bring in a new fun segment that they're going to start incorporating starting in season 2. So if you hung out with us so far through 10 minutes of this podcast, we're going to start doing these quizzes tonight, or this morning rather. Sorry, the quiz is going to Mr. Hess, so he gets the quiz for today. It's a quiz on fun facts. It's 3. I told him no cheating on our notes, so he couldn't look these up before. So these are going straight from the top here. So we'll see how Hess does on the quiz for today. So Hess, question number 1.
Okay.
And listeners, I want you all to guess this too as you're listening. So question number 1.
I'll give them a couple seconds before I answer. So
how many times has FSU versus Georgia Tech faced each other? A, 22. B, 25. C, 28. Or D, 29.
All right. Logically, I'm sitting here thinking Florida State was an original member, I think, of the Big. Nope, they were in the ACC to begin with, too. They were independent, and then they joined the ACC. Yeah. Okay, so I was thinking they was part of the Big, but they're not. They was one of the founding members. Georgia Tech, I feel like, was a founding member of the ACC. If they wasn't, I don't know where they were at before. I've been alive since 91. I've probably watched Georgia Tech play football for at least 20 years. So I know it's definitely more than 22. Definitely more than – I'm 30. I'll be 33 in December.
God, you're old.
It's definitely more than 25. So it's definitely going to be – I'm going to go C, 28, because that's my number. And I'm going to say 28. Yep.
Final answer?
I'm locking that one in, Pat.
Locking that one in. C, 28 is the correct answer. I picked 28 for a reason. That was Hess's football number, just coincidence there. So 28 times they faced off each other. I think Florida State leads. I don't know the exact number, but I do know they lead that series pretty heavily. So it's kind of like Alabama and Tennessee here lately. So question number 2 for you. Can you name what DJ, I call him ukulele, is overall on NCAA 25? Hopefully our listeners are playing NCAA 25 because it is epic. A, 86. B, 87. C, 85. Or D, 88.
All right. He was doo-doo at Clemson because he transferred out of there. He did a great year last year at Oregon State, but he transferred to Florida State, so technically I think he would be a senior this year. But he's a transfer. I'm going to say he's an 85.
85. Is that your final answer?
That's the final answer.
Incorrect.
Oh, man, he's 87.
1 for 2. He's 86. He's 86. Yeah, 86 overall. Now, of course,
right now he should be like 52.
That can change throughout the season. So that was at the beginning. If you haven't done any updates or anything, he was 86 coming in when the game was created. So 86 overall.
Deep ball accuracy going.
Yeah, I don't know what his deep ball accuracy is on there, but he is 86 overall. I haven't played with him yet either, so I'll let you know.
Okay.
Lastly, and the last and final question for the Tyler's Talking Sports quiz number 1, what was the total attendance between FSU versus Georgia Tech on Saturday?
Okay, this was in the Dublin game. This was in
Ireland, correct. Yes. Was it A, 47,955, B, 47,998, C, 51,587, or D, 45,544?
Oh, man, I knew this one because Pat McAfee and them were talking about it when they were having his show in the pub. And, guys, if you have not watched YouTube or got on YouTube and seen Pat McAfee's show where he was in the pub in Ireland, that is classic TV content. But they were talking about this, and they were talking about because it was going to be a lot of Florida State fans. 47,955 is really just sticking out to me.
Okay.
51 is not. I'm not feeling that one. But I'm going to go with 45. I'm going to go with D, 45,544.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Incorrect. You was close. It's B, 47,998. Yes. So Hess went
that was
1
a
for
nice
3,
stadium.
33%. It was nice. It looked like a soccer stadium, honestly. It looked like it had been transformed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do, too, for the NFL games when they play.
Yep.
Overseas.
It was super nice, though. Even the surrounding area, that place was – I
almost,
want to go to Ireland now.
I think it was sold out. I think that was close.
Was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was sold out. So 47,998. That's pretty good for college football. It's not bad.
Absolutely.
And especially in Ireland, too. So
yeah.
But yeah, guys, that concludes our quiz for season 1, our first opening quiz. Hopefully, y'all like that little segment. Let us know in the comments if you got those right. If you missed those,
next time.
Yeah, we'll get some more quizzes and get y'all's feedback if you like that little segment we did there. So just let us know. So back to the Florida State game. Facts on these teams. Just a couple fun facts for you from this matchup. FSU is the first ranked team to get beat in week 0 since 2002. So 22 years ago, since the last ranked team got beat in week 0. That's hard to believe, honestly. I did not realize that until doing this. I figured for sure. Who was the? Can you look that up? Who was
that up?
Yeah, who was the team?
You want to guess? I don't know what it is. I'm going to say it was. I'm going to say it was Florida.
Florida. That's who I was going with.
All right. It's going to take me a minute to find that one. So just give me a minute.
All right, while you're looking that up, I'll go through our other fun facts. This was also the first win for Georgia Tech against an AP Top 10 since 2015. If you can guess who they did it against, it was FSU as well in 2015. I don't know if everyone remembers that game, but they blocked the field goal to win the game.
Oh, sorry. That's funny. I figured out who it was.
Who is it?
In week 0 in 2002, you had a bitter rivalry between two of the schools that had probably one of the most historic rivalries in college football. Colorado State versus the number 7 Colorado Buffs.
Wow.
Colorado State won big in that game. It just says won big in an upset of number 7 Colorado.
Wow. I would not guess them. I thought for sure it'd be Florida or somebody like that.
Yep.
Thought it'd stay down south in Florida. But no. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, wouldn't have guessed 2002. I figured for sure it'd be within the past 10 years because I always feel like there's an upset. But week 0 is the key to that fact. We see a lot of upsets throughout the season, but week 0 is where like opening game. Because usually most big schools schedule cupcakes for openers. But Georgia Tech's no cupcake.
No, not this year.
Not this year. This is Georgia Tech's 5th straight outright win as a double-digit underdog under Brent Key. You mentioned Brent Key earlier. I think the guy can coach. Question for you here, Hess. I know we didn't have this in the notes, but do you think Georgia Tech sneaks into the top 25 after this win?
I think so. I think they need to be, I'm going to say, around 23 to 24, around that area. In.
I'll put them, depending on how this coming week goes. Of course, we got, college football Friday, Saturday. So
Thursday
night too? Okay.
Yep.
So
10 games Thursday night.
Oh, geez. Okay. So Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday, which is great. We'll see how it shakes up. But I do think after beating a top 10 school, they should at least be 24th, 25th. I'm right there with you.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we'll see how the season unfolds. And this is FSU's first loss as a double-digit favorite since 2020. I think they were 39.5 favorited, right?
Yes.
I think they're almost a 40-point favorite.
Yep.
That's crazy. I hope y'all took that bet. I really do. I hope some of y'all took that bet. A look ahead to next week, next week. It would be September 2nd. FSU faces Boston College. I don't think that'll be an easy game either. ACC's kind of up in the air. I mean, it's
Monday.
Yeah. That's Monday. It's Labor Day if you're off.
Monday night.
It's a federal holiday. So, Boston College, and then Georgia Tech faces Georgia State.
That won't be no cupcake game either. Georgia State got a great run game.
Georgia State was tough last year. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they play August 31st. So it'll be next Saturday.
Yep.
So yeah, keep your eyes on those schools. I do think Georgia Tech could be a force in the ACC. I think they kind of are the black horse in the ACC. I'm still watching Tech. I've heard good things about Tech. A lot of Tech fans in this area, so we'll see how they do. My favorite's probably still Clemson. As bad as I hate to say that, but they just look good on paper. So we'll see what they can do. But yeah.
Before we jump into the next game, I just want to let everybody know, hey, if you listen this long, I just want you guys to know this is our first episode. We're recapping what happened this past weekend. But Thursday, episode 2 will drop, and that will be our college football preview for the entire season. We're going to hit everything, every conference, who we think is going to win what, who's going to be in the playoff, and who's going to win a national title. So don't worry, pump the brakes. Don't be like, hey, why are we not talking about what's coming up? We're going to. We just want to recap what happened, get our feet wet back into it, and then we're going to give you great content on Thursday.
Yep, great content coming Thursday. We'll get that out probably, Thursday morning?
It'll be out Thursday morning, same time.
Thursday morning, same time, 6 a.m. So make sure y'all tune in throughout the day. Again, Hess just mentioned there's games that Thursday night, so we're gonna try to go through at least every game and give you our prediction of the winner, at least in case you are doing bets or anything like that. And then 2, like Hess said, we will try to pick 2 who's going to win the conference and who's going to be the national title favorite, who we think is going to be there. So we'll see how we do. I like starting it off fresh this year. It kind of lets we can go back and recap and see how we did at the end of the season. So,
which we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to see how good we do as our picks, but we'll talk about that at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. But moving to the game 2 on Saturday recap, Montana State versus New Mexico.
This was a really good game.
This was a very good game. I watched this one at the gym. It was excellent. I loved it. Montana never gave up. I thought for sure they were done. I really did. They came back from being down 17 entering the 4th. New Mexico was outscored 21-0 in the 4th quarter. Cannot have that. If you notice, too, I felt like the 4th quarter for all these games on Saturday was like the key moments.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The team showed up in the 4th quarter who was going to win the game. So I thought that was pretty cool to see. I have a note here, New Mexico Lobos.
Yes, sir.
More like low blow to that fan base. That was terrible, man. When I was watching this game, I thought it was a no-brainer. New Mexico was going to win up until the 4th. I mean, it just really hurt my feelings. I thought the Lobos had it. I mean, they.
You know what a Lobo is?
I don't even know what a Lobo is, but it's a low blow to the fan base. That's what it stands for. My gosh, letting them score 21 in a 4th. Are you kidding me? They had that game, dude. They had it. They just need clock management. That's all they needed to do. Also, too, they need a kicker. Mexico gets a dang kicker. He missed 2 field goals. Would have won. They lost 35-31, but they would have won 36-31. So. Or 37, sorry.
For context into what a Lobo is a southwestern U.S. or Mexico slang word for a timberwolf.
Timberwolf. Kind of like Minnesota Timberwolves and NBA. Choke too.
Yeah,
huh?
The Lobos.
The Lobos. Gosh, man. What are y'all doing? I was cheering for y'all. I was cheering for the Lobos. I picked the Lobos to win.
Yeah.
It really let me down. Great game, though. Really good game.
Oh, yeah,
Hats off to freaking Montana State. My God, that team could run the ball.
Yes,
both teams leaned on the run. This was a run-heavy game. Adam Jones tore it up. He had 17 attempts, 167 yards. He busted out in the 4th quarter there for like a 94-yard run from like their 6. He just took off, big hole to the left. So that really got his yards up there, 167 yards based off that. But still, the dude was fast. Scottree Humphrey, 19 attempts, 141 yards. 1 touchdown. I do like this kid here, Eli Sanders from New Mexico. He had some juke moves, man. I mean, he was coming out of his cleats. He had 17 attempts, 93 yards, all over the field for New Mexico. Again, if you love rushing the football, that was your style game. But hats off to the quarterbacks too, man. They had some dicey throws, some very tight windows. It was all around a great game.
Yeah, I mean, I think Montana State, they're coming in with a chip on their shoulder this year. They got absolutely destroyed making the national championship game in FCS last year against North Dakota State. They came in this year and they're out on a mission. And I mean, this was a very balanced attack by Montana State. They're going to be a force at the FCS division. I think they're ranked number 2 in the country in FCS. Tommy Mellett was 21 for 32 for 205 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then, like you were talking about, they had 2 running backs with over 120 yards rushing. You had one with 167, and then Humphrey had 140. I mean, you don't see that much nowadays at all. I mean, they were very balanced, and then they played 4 quarters of football, and that
You know who
proves
Adam Jones reminded me of?
Who's that?
Christian McCaffrey.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, he's not at that level, but he
you know what's
good.
crazy about Adam Jones, though? He is a freshman.
Yeah, he was good, man. He blew out of that hole.
So that was his first game this playing collegiate football. So I mean that's incredible for what he did. Montana State's going to be a force this year in the SES division, and I think if they've got any, I'm going to check their schedule. I'm going to see if they've got any more Division I schools or FBS teams they got to play this year, because
I looked up their school. It's very, very small.
Yeah, it's very small. They don't play anybody else major conference. Their next game is against Utah Tech at 10 p.m. on the 31st. So that was their big game of the year for them, other than their normal games.
Gotcha. Yeah, very small. Looks like kind of like King College.
Yeah, they are. I mean, Montana don't got much. Montana's got Montana State, and then they got Montana University. By the way, if you've never watched that game, I watched it last year for the first time. It was in Montana. That is a different atmosphere. I've not seen that. Those apparently they're on the opposite ends of the state, and it's the only 2 colleges they got. It's unreal. It's unreal.
I'll have to watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, great game. Hats off to them for pulling off that. I consider that an upset.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they should.
But I think Montana State though was the favorite in that game.
Yeah, it was close. It was really close.
I think they were like a 6-point favorite. So
yeah, it was close. A great game.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. Let's move on to Game 3.
Yes.
SMU now in ACC versus Nevada.
That's so weird.
I know the Mustangs. I know it is weird. What's going to be really weird is when we see Cal playing an ACC game.
You imagine what's going to be like when Cal's playing basketball and they have to go travel to Miami to play Miami.
It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be insane. Might as well call it the United States Coastal Division instead of the Atlantic Coastal.
I say coast to coast, like CTC.
The Coast to Coast Division.
Yeah, coast to coast division. I mean, it is coast to coast. It's California,
it is now.
Virginia, so that's coast
to
coast.
I think Virginia Tech goes to Stanford this year, so I mean, there's
really,
yeah,
wow. In football?
Yeah, in football.
Wow. Okay.
So Stanford's in the ACC now. You got Stanford, Cal,
Pacific
and SMU.
time game. That'd be a late game for us.
Yeah, that'd probably be like
10:30 probably.
Yeah, Pac-12 after dark.
Yeah, seriously, I'm not used to that.
Yeah,
those Pacific games, I usually fall asleep.
Right.
But anyway, Game 3, SMU versus Nevada. This was also a fourth quarter comeback game. SMU would come back in the fourth. Yeah, great game. Trailed 13-24 entering the fourth. I was a little bit nervous for them. I was cheering for the Mustangs. Big momentum shift for SMU on a safety in the fourth after a muffed fumble. I can't even talk. Muffed punt. They thought they was going to rule it as a fumble, but he actually kneeled down they ruled it down at the 1 yard line. And then they got a safety, and then they scored right after that real quick. So put it 24-23 very fast. And then SMU secured the lead with 2 minutes and went for 2, but was out of bounds. So they ended up winning that one 29-24. Great comeback. I really do think that muff punt is what caused it all. First game jitters, you're going to see this stuff. The guy muffed it, and he thought he was going to go back, and then he looked like he was going to kneel. But he did call for a fair catch, so that's what got him at the 1 yard line.
I mean, week 0, man, you have the stuff like that. When that happens, momentum swings are so, because these teams, you're trying to get your footing, you're trying to get used to playing football again. And I mean, stuff like that can be a gut punch. I mean, if this happens week 6, week 4, week 6, week 7, whatever, you kind of get over it. But this right here, you're like, man.
Yeah.
So that was a big momentum swing.
Absolutely, yeah. Preston Stone, man, he looked pretty solid. 18 for 31. He's quarterback for SMU. 257 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
I like Preston Stone. He looked good.
He looked good. He's the same kid from last year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I think SMU. This was a good challenge early because Nevada is no slouch. I think a lot of people overlooked Nevada for this game because I think SMU was favored pretty heavy. So they did escape the upset, but SMU's got some work to do on defense. I'm a little bit worried about that defense in the ACC.
Just a little bit, though, about Preston Stone here. We're talking about him from last year. The dude had 28 touchdowns. He only threw 6 interceptions last year, and his longest pass completion was 91 yards. He had a 161.3% passer rating last year. I mean, Preston Stone's a great quarterback. Next week, they got a community college they're playing next week, so just another tune-up game for them. SMU, though, ACC, we've got to watch 3 ACC schools this year. out of the three we've watched so far, do you put SMU at 3, or do you put them ahead of Florida State, Georgia Tech, or?
I put SMU at 3 still.
Okay, so
I put Florida State 2, Georgia Tech 1.
Out of the three we've watched so far?
Out of the 3 we've watched,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, I put Georgia Tech up there just based off their defense. Georgia Tech's defense is very good. Very sound.
SMU lost a lot. I mean, they've got, I think R.J. Maryland is their only returning receiver they got. He's a junior. He had 8 receptions for 162 yards and 1 touchdown. So, I mean, they lost a lot from last year. But SMU, actually, sorry, I'm wrong about Maryland. He was their tight end last year. He didn't play wide receiver. So, their tight end led them in the passing game this game. And then their other receivers, the only receiver they had that cracked over 20 yards was Roderick Daniels Jr. So, and he's a senior. So, they didn't hit the wide receivers much. They were leaning on the run game, and then they were leaning on the tight end. So, SMU's going to have to work on that offense a little bit and their defense. So, it might be a little rough patch for them.
Week 0. I mean, they came on strong last year at the end of the season.
And that game was in Nevada. I mean, it was a road game. So,
it was Nevada's a road game opening up.
And Nevada's not a really easy place to play either. You got the elevation. I'm sure the crowd was rowdy. So,
yeah. That was a good game. Brendan Lewis, he looked pretty good for Nevada. He went 14 for 26, 132 yards, and not a ton of passing yards, but he did get 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. That's always good to see. Key thing here I thought was pretty cool. SMU outgained Nevada by 100 yards in total offense and still barely managed to win. So that should say something for Nevada.
I mean, that 100 yards is what got them the extra points to win that game.
Yeah, truly. I mean, that safety was key, and then they drove right down right after that. So real quick 9-point swing there. So, and they should have got the 2, but he was just barely out of bounds. He caught it, but he was out of bounds.
Yeah,
great game.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think it's going to be interesting. I think Nevada have a pretty decent team in the Mountain West this year. Mountain West is going to be kind of competitive. Haven't really dove too much into it, but I think they will be pretty competitive. And Nevada always has these good quarterbacks. I mean, Love plays at Green Bay. They had him. Colin Kaepernick played there. I mean, they've put out some pretty decent quarterbacks over the years. So it's could be another – Brendan Lewis could be another quarterback that you see later on down the road.
He looked pretty good.
Yeah. So
he had a good arm.
We'll see. We had another game, though, buddy. Game 4. I did not stay up for this.
I did not either. This was very, very late.
And I didn't think they was going to play this one since there's a tropical storm that was, like, barreling into the island. But
Hawaii's beautiful, though, man. Beautiful.
Hey, I can't wait till they get that stadium built. Before y'all know, we are talking about the Hawaii-Delaware State game.
Yep, sorry.
Hawaii is in the renovations of their stadium. They've demolished the old Rainbow Stadium or whatever it was called that they played the Pro Bowl. So they're building like a $2.6 billion stadium on one of the islands. It's going to be like state-of-the-art. Hawaii, just being so far away, you'd think, though, man, they get all kinds of kids over there because who wouldn't want to be in Hawaii playing football?
It looks nice. I mean, it looks like a beautiful place to play. Both teams came in to look on improving upon the records from last season. Delaware State came in from a 1-10 record last year, so very, very tough year for them. Hawaii was also down. They had a 5-8 season. I remember when Hawaii used to actually not be like they used to be like in I don't know if they ever were top 25, but they were
they got I think the highest they ever got ranked. I think they got up to 6th when they had Colt Brennan, and then they played USC and got beat.
Okay.
Rest in peace, Colt Brennan. Colt Brennan was one of my favorite. He had the cool haircut. He had the islands shaved into his head. It was so cool.
I knew they were good at one point. Yeah. I just couldn't remember how high they got or if they did actually get ranked. But 5-8's not terrible to come off of. I mean, that's doable.
Starting off the Warriors.
Yeah, starting off season 1-0 is definitely the way you want to start. Hawaii had a touchdown lead going into the 4th, 21-14. It was a close game. I watched this game recap on YouTube this morning. So very close game. Came down again to the 4th quarter. Hawaii dominated that 4th quarter. They put up 2 more touchdowns. They put up 14 to lead and win the game 35-14 over Delaware State. Key stats for this one for me. I don't know what you're looking up, but I'm just going to go ahead and say my guy, Jemiah Otis, a linebacker. I picked a defensive player for you. He was my player of the game for Hawaii. I looked up the stats. He had 11 tackles, 1 sack, and 2.5 tackles for loss. So 2.5 TFLs, man. That's pretty nice on top of a sack and 11 tackles. So in other words, he was all over the field. I didn't get to watch it, but every time I looked it up and stuff, he was tackling somebody. So Jemiah Otis. I think he's a sophomore. So he looked pretty good, man.
Yeah, I was looking back to it was 2007. They had a 13-game winning streak. They went undefeated in the regular season. They upset USC, but they lost at the Sugar Bowl.
Ooh.
Their highest ranking Their highest week 1 ranking was 25th in 2010. They were ranked 24th in 2000 in week 2.
I think 2010 is the team I'm thinking of. That would have been like my freshman year in high school. So I was probably thinking of them. Like that's the only time I ever remember Hawaii.
Hawaii football's been around for 52 years. This is their 52nd season.
Wow.
They're in the Mountain West. They've been in 14 bowls. They're 8-6 in their bowl record. Ranked in the AP poll 1 time. Ranked in the final AP poll 2 times. And only been ranked 28 weeks total in 52 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And their stadium was
half a year ranked.
Yep. Trying to see what their highest ranking here. I see there's 10th in 2000. Their highest they ever got was 10th in 2007.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Not shabby, man. Oh, Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yeah. Great looking school for sure.
Dude, that intro for them. Did you see that? It's on our Facebook. That I would run through a wall coming out for that. Man. It was absolutely awesome, and
it was beautiful.
They have some really nice uniforms. You need to play with them on NCAA. Maybe that could be your team you do your dynasty with.
I could do Hawaii. I was thinking about doing Hawaii, honestly.
That would be pretty cool. Build them into a power. Put them build the Pac-12 back up. Start sending them Mountain West schools.
Nah, we going SEC. We're going to dominate the SEC.
I like it. All the way from Hawaii.
All the way from Hawaii.
That would be awesome.
It would be.
Yeah, man. But let's see. Let me see if I got anything here. We talking about Hawaii. Quarterback play was pretty good for them. Braden Schrager, he was 17 for 34 for 203 yards, 2 touchdowns. Landon Sims had 10 carries for 58 yards. And Braden Schrager, the quarterback, he also had 10 carries for 38 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he was all their scoring. He had their 4 touchdowns in that game. So looks like he's off to a really good start for them. Hawaii, they're in that Mountain West Conference. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. They got a senior at quarterback. Their defense is a little shaky. We'll see what happens. I mean, Hawaii might make a run. You never know. I'm going to go on a limb and say Hawaii will make a bowl this year, though.
Who's Hawaii got next? Who's their next? Who's their next opponent?
Hawaii plays UCLA.
Ooh, be tough.
Yeah, that's a new Big Ten school. UCLA. Sorry.
You're right. Yeah.
Then they got Sam Houston
When's that game?
State.
Is that 31st?
31st on CBS at 7:30.
Okay.
That is in Hawaii too. It's another home game.
Nice. Okay.
Yep. Their biggest test, it looks like so far, they're going to have the rest of the year. They got San Diego State at San Diego State. They play Boise State at home. They go to Washington State, at Fresno State, and then they finish the year with New Mexico. So
a pretty tough little schedule.
It is. Mountain West going to be tough. But hey, right now they're first in the Mountain West.
Yeah, 1-0.
Live it up.
1-0 week 0.
And I mean, before we finish out here with Hawaii, go on ESPN. They got a great article about Luke Felix. I'm going to butcher this name, but his name is Luke Felix Fulalu. They're saying he is the most interesting man in all of college football. I watched a little bit of him. He's a Japanese descent. His grandfather's an ancient Japanese swordsman. They did a whole story about it. He is really awesome. Pretty sure he's a defensive tackle. He is a monster. And just a fun fact about him: he wears number 72. He wears number 72 because of grandfathers, something to do with his grandfather. So look it up. It's a good little article about him. But yeah, man, that's it, man. Anyway, week 0 in the books. You had a couple of little FCS games that was going on.
Yeah, I watched some of those.
Yeah, there was a couple of those going on. We'll follow that a little bit here and there, guys. But like I said, guys, this is just our tune-up episode. This is episode 1 of season 2. We'll go straight into college football. I hope y'all have enjoyed everything. But we have to do one more thing we want to talk about, and it may get you all a little, that green stuff you need in your pocket. Fill up your tank. Get you some groceries.
Green beans.
Green beans,
steak. Baby.
May you want to take your lady out to dinner and just pay for her food because you ain't going to be able to afford anything else, but maybe you can pay for hers. We have a college pick'em, guys. It's on our Facebook page, on all our social medias. It's through ESPN. You click the link. You make an ESPN account if you ain't already got one. You pick teams every week. Each week, there'll be picks. It don't have to be final. You don't have to be in until the 31st. So you have till actually 11:59 a.m. on August 31st to get your picks in and get your account created. And be sure you pick every week. And whoever is the number one at the end of the year, which will be in January, I think January 1's when it quits, you get a $50 gift card that'll be able to be used anywhere you want. Be one of them Visa $50 gift cards.
Of your choice, yep.
Of your choice, yep.
Yeah, anything you want to buy, $50 on Hess and I. So, yeah, take that serious, guys. Man, it's $50. I mean, all you got to do is take 20 seconds out of your day, or you can even do auto picks So it won't even take that long. But yeah, 20 seconds out of your day. Just make sure you get those picks locked in. It is easy to forget. So just make sure you join that. We do have, I think, about 11 or 12 people already signed up for that. So that's good to see.
I'll check it right now, actually.
So we hope y'all joined in on that. If you listen to us for 40 minutes. Also, too, guys, since this is our first episode, our episodes are going to be a little bit shorter this season. We're going to try to shoot out, again, two episodes per week. So, again, Monday morning, 6 a.m. We're glad y'all joined us. Make sure you tune in Thursday morning as well. We're going to do a preview for the upcoming games. So we're kind of doing this as preview post. So Mondays will be post, of course. Previews will be on Thursdays of our score selections and who we think going to win the games. So make sure y'all tune into those. Again, it's going to be a little bit shorter episodes, but we're trying to push out good content in a shorter amount of time.
Yep, so y'all can listen to it on your way to work, on your way home, just something real fast, hit you with the heavy hitters. Again, we won't be going over every game. We're going to be hitting the big ones, and I promise you we will be hitting the big ones. We'll be talking in-depth about those big games to give you all everything you need to know what's going on. Like I said, Thursday morning, that'll be our college football preview for the 2024 season. It's going to be electric. We've already kind of started talking about it. Notes will be started being made tomorrow. It's going to be cool. But back to our college pick'em, there is 11 people in it right now. And be sure, guys, I love the creative names. Keep it up. But be sure there's something on there that lets us know kind of who you are. So I ain't trying to search around in January trying to figure out who ESPN 92777534536 is. But yeah, guys, again, I want to shout out Fresh Off the Clock for deciding to partner up with us, reaching out to us and wanting to be partners with us. We're excited about it. It's going to be an incredible year. We're going to do some big things here at Tyler's Talking Sports. Me and Castle have already talked about some of the places we're going to be going. We got a lot coming, and this thing's going to last all the way through. Who knows when? We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon like Big Fred said. We're taking his name to the moon.
Take it to the moon.
Take it to the moon. But, guys, we appreciate y'all listening. Like I said, this episode is out. It's Monday. Hope you've had a great Monday. Next episode will drop on Thursday morning at 6 a.m. Be sure you listen to this one. If you're not already subscribed to the channels, subscribe to the channels. Like us on everything. Follow us. Share us to the world. We love you guys. We're back. Tyler's Talking Sports. Hess is out.
Castle's out. Happy Monday, guys. Appreciate y'all.
See y'all.